Due to the graphic nature of this program, viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome back to the Open Door Policy. I am your host, Sailor Boy Troy, and as you can see on my head right now, it is the end of year wrap up. So it's our holiday edition with my wrapping paper tinfoil hat. So just there for you. Got some good news. Brendan's back. Brendan, how are you, sir?
How are you? Do you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. How are you?
All right. Perfect. I am doing well, my man. Sorry about my tardiness and not being around for the last couple episodes. But hey, listen, busy and we're keeping it going. And thank God that you're there on that other end and you're getting some other people and really boosting up the channel and stuff. You're making it interesting. You had something came up into your world there. You were actually just recently on a show with Paul Stubbs. Did you just do that interview? Or
no, I haven't been on the show. That's actually going to be tomorrow night. This time tomorrow night, actually 6 o'clock, our time, and 11 p.m. his time in the UK. And we're gonna be talking about. Well, he started his journey as a person who was doing psychonautica stuff, right? Like DMT. He tried everything, right? And he got to the same place we are now. And he has a theory called the Nephilim may have looked like clowns, and that has crossed the channels like wildfire, and that's a theory that's quickly making traction. So, we're a small channel. We only got like 106 viewers, but like we're again, I don't know how it works, but we've had some pretty big guests for such a short period of time. So it's very humbling to know that some of these people are looking at the little guy to share some of their wisdom. So I'm looking forward to it. And if anyone out there is listening, it's going to be wild.
Well, this is it.
Check out Understanding Conspiracy. That's the page. It's going to be on Understanding Conspiracy with Paul Stubbs.
That's it right there. We are a small fish. We are a small fish just starting out, but there's a lot of exciting things coming up for us in this new year. I know that you and I are planning something very interesting, maybe doing a trip down by the details. Well, yeah. Okay. We're going to be going on a nice camping trip down to the Lake of the Woods, just outside of Winnipeg on the border.
That's correct. We're going to be going to Lake of the Woods, border of Ontario and Minnesota. So that's going to be, I've been looking forward to it. That's kind of where all of the research has been pointing towards with the Seven Fires prophecy and all of those. We should talk about those. The last couple guests and podcasts I've been on have been a wild ride, and I'm still piecing it all together. But everything,
right? Even
with somebody from Bolivia, right? They were telling me that pretty much my stuff's lining up the same as theirs. Like, you can't make this up, man. I'm still in awe with just how everything's working out, to be completely honest with you.
And this is it, right? We are a small fish, but we're like, this is awesome, right? But the thing is what we're doing is connecting around the world with the ability to, this wonderful internet. We're able to freaking have these wicked conversations with people across the whole world, and everything is lining up. So, what do you do with all this information and stuff? Well, you just dig. So yeah, we're going to be going to Lake of the Woods. The reasons why we're going there is we have the Seven Fire prophecies, right, and the map of the Phoenix, and a lot more about this. I am following on that lead by yourself, but from my understanding, this is a possibility for the encounter of the light beings?
Yeah, so everything's pointing towards the light beings. Now, again, like with the research, because it's such a sensitive topic. Everyone's such a baby nowadays. You have to be careful what you say, right? Um, and yeah, like there's question if it's when they say people with the skin of light. There's a description. Are we talking about the light skinned people? Or are we actually talking about skin of light? So it's been fun. It's been quite the deep dive, and it's only getting crazier the deeper I go. Actually, what I have brought up here is where we're going to go. So this right here is the Lake of the Woods. And if you, I mean, you can't really see too much, but essentially, like all of these rivers here bring us back down into Lake Superior. This is the route that the natives took, that is mentioned in the Seven Fires prophecy. And I found it peculiar if we look at the entire map of North America, specifically the Canadian-US border, it is practically straight for 3,000 kilometers until we hit this spot right here. This is the only spot in the entirety of our borders where it comes up a substantial amount and over and back down, and it encompasses most of that lake. So, people think it may be like a border dispute or whatever, but I'm telling you, there's more to it than that, because I'm just going to bring one more thing up here on the screen, and then we'll just kind of branch off a little bit more. Um, this is essentially where everything is supposed to go down when it comes down to um, ceremonies, and possibly even the great cleansing that the Anishinaabe talk about and the Hopi talk about as well.
Interesting.
What I'm trying to look for right now actually is just, I don't know if I even have it in queue here. I don't. Okay. What I'm looking for is I actually have the migratory pattern of the Anishinaabe when they were chased out, and where the most of their petroglyph sites are. I wonder if this
And
might
that's what I was like. So from what you were like, from what you have researched and talked to many others, there's artifacts or something in that lake.
100%. I actually worked it out with I actually did work it out with AI, and I told AI to give me like the best grid coordinates to, if I were to ever find anything, and this is literally what it gave me. Put it right here. I'll bring that up
Oh,
on screen here.
that came from AI.
This came from AI, this part right here. I said,
The
where
language
would be
of the
most
alien.
likely? That's right. So right here, it's this right here. They say this might be location of Spirit Island, which is what the natives used to call certain islands out there. And this is what it may look like underwater. So just a peninsula underwater of a flat ground, almost like a lake within a lake. Lake of the Woods is very deep, so it'd be quite the excursion for us to even get in there for sure. But here's the coordinates that it gave me: 49.1333 north, 94.8883 west. And that's, of course, it would be on the US side, right? So this is, if there's something right here, of course, we'd love to check it out, but I don't even know, like, to even float around in the lake if we would need a passport just to even float around the water. I don't know. So that's what we're going to have to look at. But here's the depth of the lake, if we can see it here. So this is essentially, here's that island. This is kind of where it told us to look, right in here. And there's a shelf system right here. It's not the deepest part of the lake, but by far it's not the easiest one. There's a bunch of shelves we could eventually dive and see if there's anything tangible there. But yeah, that's kind of where all the evidence has been pointing us to go towards. What I'm going to try to do, I'm going to close this now, and I'm going to see if I can actually find the migratory patterns of the Anishinaabe, just to bring this home.
Yeah. It's and again, this is where what are we hoping to discover or even encounter, the possible encounter?
I personally believe that whatever we do come across will be sacred as hell. I'm not saying we're going to go Indiana Jones and find something that's never been discovered, not at all.
Right.
But there's definitely something to it. And here's the proof right here. I'm going to bring this up on screen. This blew my mind after I worked things out with AI and all of the different petroglyphs so far.
Okay.
And again, like I don't have enough time to get all this done in one day, but it's the craziest stuff that I've ever seen.
Well, here we go.
So let me see if I can bring this
Showing for the first time on Open Door Policy. Let's go. Let's go. There we go.
We're not even in the right. I put up the wrong one again. I apologize, guys. Apologize. I'm bringing it up again because I don't know how to do computers. Here we go. So this is the Anishinaabe or the Algonquin First Nations. Here's some of the petroglyphs that you find. This is what the Seven Fires prophecy is based off of, is this nation and their history. So here we go. At the very top, here's the migratory pattern that they talk about all through the Seven Fires, coming up through the Great Lakes, up through where the knife splits. That's the Detroit River. We get into the bigger lakes, Lake Michigan, pass through Lake Ontario to Superior. And right here is where the branch off goes. And what do we have right here? Look at that hot spot. That is Lake of the Woods right there. And this is where all the natives would come for something, right? This is the hot spot. This is what we're looking at. And the Seven Spires prophecy says, like we had ended off, at the end of time, a bunch of veterans are going to make a discovery and try to make a change for the world. So is this what we're looking at? Who knows? But the connections are too crazy to ignore. And this is kind of where I found, I've dug more and more and more, and it crosses over with where the Mormons talk about this too. And, you know, everyone thinks Joseph Smith was a liar. I could believe that too. But these are too close. And the Hopi speak of a similar thing. And they're like down in, the Hopi are down like in Arizona region, right? Like,
yeah, that's right. Like Sedona and all that.
Which is another hot spot.
Which is another hot spot, which is, you know, another possibility to just even, you know, what would be nice is just even to like find some people to interview and just be like, what have you heard? What's your story behind it?
Well, here's the problem. Reaching out to some of these people, a lot of them don't want to tell their stories, number one, because they still have the generational mistrust. Who the fuck are you? Why am I going to share shit with the same people who took my land? That's normally the response you're going to get. Now, if you go into it with, here, this is what I found, this is what I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to, like, it, you almost have to prove yourself every time you speak to these people, and understandably so.
Yeah, that's fair.
But by the Seven Fires, it even says within the Seven Fires, the elders will either have forgotten their own ways, they'll be unwilling to share, or they'll have straight up forgotten it. So now is the time to get these stories out and collect them and pass them on to other generations, because like it says in the Seven Fires, we used to be friends, possibly, if it's us. We used to be friends. So it's up to us to bring in that new age before things go nuts. But again, like this is a new thing that I discovered myself, and I've been in the Great Lakes my whole life, and I'm just learning about these things now. So if I'm just learning about it, like, this is going to be a hard pill for a lot of other people to swallow, which I get.
And it, you know, I don't want to bring politics into it because that's just a stage, that's a game, that's a controlled game. We know this.
Well, good luck us trying to find anything. Even if we did find something tangible, we're not going to be, we'd have to do it live because it'd probably get taken from us if we did find something, right? You know what I mean? Like,
but it's very interesting, the current events within the last, you know, 6, 7 years. It's been hard reconciliation and bringing back, you know, that kind of acknowledgement, which makes me kind of be like, are they trying to be like, oops, oh my God, like, you know, I don't know.
But the thing is, these stories aren't even being shared and told at all. It's just reconciliation, this, dog and pony show, that, and there's really nothing learned. This is actual education that we should be sharing, that they should be sharing, and that we should be coming together on, not just doing a powwow and a and land recognition. Like, we need to do more, and I think this is what we're doing, is doing more. I'd love to get people on here from the 6 nations, but again, it's who are you going to talk to, number one, and number two, are they even going to know the stories? And that's sad to say, because a lot of them have forgotten their ways, and that comes from the residential school system. So again, it's handled with kid gloves, but at the same time, they're Canadian too. So their story is our story. And this is why it's probably good. Just let's stop focusing on the sandbox in Israel and focus on home. Like, because everyone's fighting over Israel. Well, I'm going to remind people out there, Israel is not a place. It's a people, number one. So all that shit going on over there has nothing to do with the word Israel. Just keeping that out there. It's not anti-Semitic. It's just a fact. It is a people, not a place. So we need to start looking elsewhere.
Yeah. And focus at home. I always, you know what, like that can just bring it down to the person almost. Stop focusing on your buddy, your neighbor. Focus on yourself and what's your personal shit.
Well, it's like the 10 Commandments, right? Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's goods, right? Like the 10 Commandments are pretty simple life lessons. They're not hard. Like, don't envy your neighbor because you got a Corvette and you don't. Like, it's just simple things like that. You do you.
You do
you.
Yeah,
Focus
man, I
on
love
your
that.
journey.
So this is going to be an exciting little trip, right? That we're planning. It's gonna, you know, with the amount of research and stuff like that, Troy and you have definitely given me some information that I'm also preparing for. But it's just gonna, you know, we're thinking around springtime or something like that, possibly, to go down there and do a little bit of a couple videos, right? Like, we're gonna make some content.
Yeah, we're planning about a week of portaging. So it's not going to be glamping at all. It's going to be 2 dudes in a boat canoeing up, just like the way it was done 1700 years, or in the 1700s, with a little bit of camera equipment. So that's going to be the biggest pain in the ass, is carrying all the
we'll
equipment.
probably find, you know, flies at least.
Oh yeah, black fly season too. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
It's all right, man. I love it. All right. So what do we got going on for the rest of the what do we got going on today? I know that you said something about this new movie that's coming out.
Well, Disclosure Day, the trailer finally just dropped, and it came 3 days earlier than it was anticipated to do. And yeah, there's some shockers in there. So let's watch that live with everybody now and kind of discuss it. I tried not to watch much of it. I watched a couple clips and I was like, okay, I gotta wait till Brandon comes on, because I need to see the symbolism in real time. So everyone else who hasn't seen it, here we go. This is Disclosure Day.
If you found out we weren't alone, if someone showed you, proved it to you, would that frighten you?
Good morning, Kansas City. Let's take a look at today. Today's
People have a right to know the truth. It belongs to 7 billion people.
What is it?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you. So I'm gonna show you.
What are you gonna do?
Full disclosure to the whole world. All at once. People keep wondering. Encountering the unknown.
They're coming! They're coming!
They are starved for the truth.
Do you think there could be others?
Why would he make such a vast universe? Yet save it only for us?
Oh.
So I got chills just from hearing that noise.
That's
You
like
know,
me chewing gum on the mic.
well, you know what's funny? That is almost the exact same noise that they were making in Signs. Do you remember Signs with Mel Gibson?
Right.
And they were
Yeah.
all clicking. And I don't know, like the symbolism that I've seen in here, I don't even know what to do with it. Like, here's a blue. I did not expect the cardinal. I did not expect the cardinal. This has been sitting in my window since my grandmother gave it to me, creeping me the fuck out.
Wow.
Could be coincidence, right? But nobody expected it to be a cardinal. Everyone was saying it was a blue jay. Everyone was saying this, but I didn't see a creature, right? I saw a lot of religious symbolism in that, and which obviously this would put into question what's going to happen to religion if this were to happen. But I have no clue. Like my guess was they came from the Pleiades based on the symbol, and that showed me nothing. It showed me nothing at all that I was close. What I see, it seemed to look like a surveillance state chasing. It looked like it was chasing a bunch of tinfoil hat people at the end who knew what was going on. I think that's what the movie's about, is this people knowing what's up and letting it out. That's what I think the movie's about. But who
Yeah,
knows?
from that trailer, that's what I was getting, is like people need to know the truth.
And
And
the eye color change is another thing that really stuck with me. I'm like,
yeah,
is that the Pleiadians? Because those are the eye colors that they talk about, the Pleiadians being blue hair or blue-eyed beings, right? Blue, but they switched to blue to brown. So I don't even know. Could this be the starseed thing? There was a scene in there where did you see the white light with the two hands touching?
yeah,
That's like a childhood's end thing to me, right? The
yeah.
innocence of
It's going to
kids,
be a great
something to do with
film.
the innocence of children, man. Like, this is gonna be crazy.
It will be. It will be. It's gonna like it. Well, it's a classic Steven Spielberg. You know, the man brought us, you know, the legend E.T. Go Home. So, you know,
He's just been dropping breadcrumbs for years.
now it's this one. So who knows? Who knows? But there is we did make up we got that poster for the disclosure poster.
Yes.
And then we got the stars lining up to the eyeball reflection.
And I didn't see anything that lines up with anything to do with that in the trailer at all. But what I did find weird is if you look where she was doing the weather,
Yes.
did you see that the weather switched like really quick? And where it all came was Minnesota, right?
Oh,
Near
yeah.
Lake of the Woods. All in the
Oh,
Great Lakes region, man. It was Great Lakes region in the background. Everything shifting towards. Maybe I'm just biased and I want my research to be correct, but like everything's converging. Paul Stobbs even released something today. He calls it the age of singularity or transcendence of singularity, and it's essentially what we've been talking about, how everything is converging. Everything, whether it be religion to AI, everything's going to get to a point where everything is shown to be true, almost like a hive mind.
yeah.
And I don't know what to make of it. I really don't. Is it collective unconscious? Is that what we're waking up to? Like, there's a lot of stuff about The Chosen, and I hate hearing stuff about The Chosen, right? But some of the synchronicities that line up, man, like, I don't believe in coincidences anymore. I really don't.
Well, what's interesting is about what we've lived a life of about 80 years or 2000 years before the internet, I guess. Very much the same, right? Like we were just there hasn't been any change really in how to live. And then all of a sudden we're in the information age, and then everything is just like coming out. But just recently, there's been a lot more, I would say, well, first, there's been more policies about mental health, about grounding, about getting yourself, abled and anchored. But on top of that, there's been a lot more of like, collective consciousness and grids lighting up. And I'm not sure what the seismograph or something, or where they say the earth vibration.
Mm-hmm.
It has been increased. Like there's been a lot of that kind of content since then. So yeah, and plus there's been a ramp up of UAPs, right? Like going through, and then there's been a lot more governmental disclosure coming out in big governments and stuff, like not small governments. Like small governments for the most part will be pushing stuff out. I know that Mexico, they pushed out like an actual alien.
Well, the world is gearing up for war, and I don't think it's World War III anymore. I don't. Like Donald Trump created the Space Force, and we thought it was a big joke back in the day, and now it's starting to make sense. Now it's all starting to make sense that he created that now, and now we're at the age of disclosure. The Canadian military just accepted we've talked about this before. The Canadian Navy just accepted the Coast Guard into its tonnage, so the Coast Guard is now a military asset, and now they're looking at 300,000 civil defense people. Something's coming. Something is coming. Like there's no, whether I want it to be aliens because I don't want to fucking feel like I'm getting nuked, but something's coming. Like there's everything's just too perfectly lining up all over the world. We talk to people all over the planet that are saying the same shit. They're seeing shit in the sky and the government's ramping up for something. Is this it? Are they going to give us aliens and say, gotta lock down, gotta be our friends, don't want to be exposed to them? Or are they just going to go, fuck you, we're in control? What's going to happen? I don't know.
It's going to be interesting.
Dude, this is the craziest time to be alive. Like, I'm glad that, and maybe this is a blessing in disguise about early retirement, but like we have the time to look at this stuff and really think about it instead of I wish I could go to work and shut it off. I wish I could.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, no, that's true. That's true, right? Because like most of society right now, like there's their main, like they're tired, right? Like they're
in survival mode. They're in survival mode.
That's what they're in survival mode, and with survival mode, you're just going to be primarily running like a robot, like.
And that's not to say we're any better and we're not in survival mode. What we're meaning is like these people, like I got a 9 to 5 to go to. I got to take the kids to hockey. I got to do this, that, and the other thing, and I got to have my head buried so far in the fucking sand that all I want to do when I come home is watch football. I don't want to think about any of this extra nonsense, right? And that's the thing. A lot of people don't. That's probably why a lot of people aren't waking up. But I think whatever trauma is triggered from this is going to be what wakes people up. It's going to be right in front of them, so it's only going to have to. But then what's the question from there? Where do they go?
You're just going to need more people that are going to be grounded.
That's right.
And at the end of the day, like we don't know. Like, for the most part, this is there's real, right? There's facts, there's breadcrumbs that are leading up to this. We're not just making this up, we are researching all, like going down these little breadcrumbs and trying to find.
I personally want it to happen so I can stop reading. Like I am exhausted. Like I don't want to read anymore, to be honest. Like it's taxing. This is taxing work. Like people we don't go on every week because life goes on, and fuck, like I got to read at least 6 books and cross-reference like 9 videos before I could even come on here and talk like I know what I'm talking about, right? Because there's just so much.
So much. I don't want to put out content. It's also awesome that we're wearing a tinfoil hat while doing it.
Isn't that great? Isn't that great? It's just for you. It's my Christmas gift to you.
I love it. So are we thinking grays? Because like on the poster, do you have the poster? Do you have that?
You know what? I have the clip. Poster? I do have the clip. Let me just even put that up.
Yeah, because like on the actual trailer poster, it is a alien that is like it looks like a gray with tentacles.
I saw one where somebody actually like blacked everything out and flipped it, and it was like, yeah, that's 100% a gray, 100%.
Yeah, that's it. Wow.
I'm so used to doing everything on the phone that when I come to the computer, it's just a pain in the butt.
So, like after this, once we're done talking disclosure, we're going to go into a little bit of we're going to show a little bit of a clip of Warren Buffett, and
Do you have that ready to go?
Yeah, we're gonna rock that. Talking about the collapse of the American dollar, and then where's that going?
So I have that right for you right here, my man.
Here we go.
I think that's gonna be it. Yep. That's not supposed to.
Hey everybody. So, poster for the disclosure movie that Spielberg has put out. It's quite interesting. If you zoom in on the pupil.
Oops.
Hey everybody.
Ah, man, I'm sorry, guys.
Hey everybody. So, the poster for the disclosure movie that Spielberg has put out. It's quite interesting. If you zoom in on the pupil and you look at right here, and you notice that there's almost looks like a star pattern in there. All my research points towards the Pleiades star cluster, which can be seen right here. Notice the similarities. They talk about a return from the Pleiades. People, the light-skinned ones, or perhaps the skin of light, that return. Just as the Hopi prophecy says, when the blue star rise comes back, the star people aren't far behind. The rare three-eye atlas. That's gonna, if that turns blue and red, that's gonna fulfill the prophecy. Just some food for thought out there, guys. Stay weird.
Yeah,
It's wild.
It's
wild.
funny. Like the Cardinals blew my mind. Cardinal blue. Like I was like, oh, that's a blue. Everyone's like, that's a blue jay. And I'm looking at him like, could be a dove. And then it ended up being a cardinal. I was like, wow. So now I got to look at the symbolism of what a cardinal means. And I haven't had the time to go down. There's too many rabbit holes to go through, and I still got other work I need to finish too, right? Because the Seven Fires work's the most important work that I'm doing. That's actual research. Everything else is just shit that's coming up in between that's lining up with it. So, yeah, what did you want to bring up there?
Well, are we? We're going to be. We're done with the show and disclosure. So that's a pretty exciting movie that's coming up with Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, you know what? That comes out in July. It was if our trip was extended, we could just watch that live in the woods in the middle of nowhere. Maybe we'll get abducted.
Nobody's getting
it. For anybody who wants to look at these stories, just to see it from their own, I highly recommend the Mishomi's book. This book was written by Edward Benton Ben I, and he was one of the he knew one of the last people that held the Seven Fires Wampum Belt. So this is a good book if you want to fact check anything. It's good to read your kids, and it's a good story to catch up on. It's all in here, Seven Fires and a bunch of other stories. So this is just one of many different books that points into this direction. Other books that I'm working through right now, the Michigan Relics. Right, everyone says that's been debunked, but again, this is something that lines up with the Seven Fires prophecy. And then, of course, we're reading this one. So maybe we'll get into this sometime. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with things right now. Tomorrow night's gonna be heavy for me. So anyone who's watching that, just bear with me. It won't be on our channel. It will be on Understanding Conspiracies of Paul's channel. So we won't be going live tomorrow. But what I will try to do is when he does release that, I will see if I can release it here probably on Thursday or Friday, just so you guys can have a catch up to see where we were at with that. So that's where things are sitting with me right now currently. Oh, is this your thing?
A fully animated voiced over video. It's only 2 p.m. AI content creation is better.
Warren Buffett. Yeah, guys, this is big news.
So every year, the Warren Buffett Foundation, right, Berkshire, they do their annual. And he's been doing it for, man, I don't know, 8 decades. I think
I'm still with you. I just had to pop out of the room for a second. I'm still here.
I think he started investing when he was like 10. So this is a clip of his just recent Berkshire annual meet, talking about the US dollar. And let's just play it.
Play it. Let's go.
Apologize here, guys. I just had it up, boys. Guys. Here we go. Where did it go? Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. I just had it up, and obviously dealing with some sort of.
It says if you press K, it should play.
I'm
seeing that right now.
Yeah, no.
What about spacebar? That's okay.
Okay, I'm gonna disconnect here and just put
disconnect
up
it and
another
bring it
one.
back up. Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. Here we go. Yeah, it's something that is worth the listen, anyways.
Okay, if there's one AI site builder you need to meet, this is Dope Tech from Boots.
There we go.
Bring it up on screen there. Or are you going to play it audio?
The Federal Reserve has telegraphed that they intend to monetize the debt by printing trillions of dollars, even as they insist that they're fighting inflation. Already, other major economies in the world, such as China, Saudi Arabia, and Brazil, are moving away from the dollar in anticipation of this. My question is, over the past few years...
Is that working, Troy?
Yeah, I can hear it. Yep, you're good.
Is the video working, though?
Yep.
Okay.
She's just not moving. She's just a young kid just mumbling, as usual. She's not moving much.
Over the past few years, the Federal Reserve has telegraphed that they intend to monetize the debt by printing trillions of dollars, even as they insist that they're fighting inflation. Already, other major economies in the world, such as China, Saudi Arabia, and Brazil, are moving away from the dollar in anticipation of this. My question is, are we likely to face a time in the future when the US dollar is no longer the global reserve currency? How is Berkshire prepared for this possibility? And what can we do as American citizens to attempt to shelter ourselves from what's beginning to look like the beginnings of de-dollarization?
Go back to a gold standard. There's your answer.
I should ask you to come up here and answer some questions. I mean, it's very interesting. I mean, we are the reserve currency. I see no option for any other currency to be the reserve currency. And I think that nobody understands the situation better than Jay Powell. And but he's not in control of fiscal policy. And every now and then he drops a few hints. And there was no question that when the pandemic broke out, I mean, it was a semi-war-like situation, but nobody knows how far you can go with the paper currency before it gets out of control. And particularly if you're the world's reserve currency, nobody knows the answer to that.
Tariffs will affect.
And you don't want to try and pick out the point at where it does become a problem, because then it's all over. I think we should be very careful. I mean, we all learned Keynesianism and we applied it in World War II to the advantage of the country. And we did everything we could to prevent inflation during the war. And then the war ended in August of 45. And I think in January 46, and I'm not giving you exact figures at all now, but in January 46, I think the rate of inflation was at something like 1% or thereabouts. And by the end of the year, I think it was at like 15%. And again, I'm doing this from long memories, but it's easy for America to do a lot. But if we do too much, it's very hard to see how you recover once you let the genie out of the bottle and people lose faith in the currency. And they behave in an entirely different manner than they do when they feel that if they put some money in the bank or have a pension plan or whatever it may be, that they're going to get out something with roughly equal purchasing power. And it just changes the economy, and all kinds of things can happen then. And I can't predict them, and nobody else can predict them, but I do know they aren't good. And we will see. And I do this as I voted for both parties, and it's not limited to politicians of either party or anything of the sort. People take positions. Some of them understand what they're doing. Some of them don't understand what they're doing. If they put me on some medical board, I don't understand what I'm doing. It's not that there's nothing wrong with the fact that you can't master everything. You can't all be Isaac Newton, but you can't go around pretending you do or making decisions on it. And we are not as well off in relation to curbing inflation expectations, which become self-fulfilling. And we are not as well off as we were earlier. And Berkshire is better prepared than most investments for that kind of a period. But I said this in the annual report, but we aren't perfectly prepared because there's no way to perfectly prepare. You don't know what course of action will occur. And it's a very political decision now. It's a tribal decision to some degree. You hope for leadership that actually will do something, recognizes the problem. And America's an incredible society, rich.
Sure is.
We got everything going for us, but that doesn't mean we can just print money indefinitely. As debt, and
you can't even pay the interest on your debt.
Interesting to see how it turns out.
If you don't understand the rules of power, you are certainly.
So that was
scary.
2024, though, Troy. This is 2025. Because,
so there's follow up to that.
Yeah, right. Because that was with Charlie Mongrel, and he passed away in 2024. And now we have.
He wasn't wrong. The guy's a predictive genius, or he's in on it. I don't know, but he's never been wrong with any of his speculations.
Well, this is going to be interesting. This is
I shouldn't say never. I'm talking big ones for all you nitpickers out there.
Now, I didn't dig into this one, but this is the interview.
Just today's.
Yesterday's interview, 2025. Warren Buffett. He finally breaks his silence. So that's what it's in the Investor Center. They got this. There we go. All right, so let's dig through this and hear what he has to say. I watched a little bit, and pretty much, he's focused.
Deficit now that is unsustainable over a very long period of time. We don't know whether that means 2 years or 20 years, because there's never been a country like the United States. But you know that if something can't go on forever, it will end, to quote Herbert Stein, a famous economist. And we are doing something that is unsustainable. If it makes a difference to you whether your stocks are down 15% or not, you need to get a somewhat different investment philosophy.
This next question comes from Advait Prasad in New York. He writes, today, Berkshire holds over $300 billion in cash and short-term investments, representing about 27% of total assets, a historically high figure compared to the 13% average over the last 25 years. This has also led Berkshire to effectively own nearly 5% of the entire U.S. Treasury market. Beyond the need for liquidity to meet insurance obligations, is the decision to raise cash primarily a de-risking strategy in response to high market valuations, or is it also a deliberate effort to position Berkshire's balance sheet for a smoother leadership transition, providing Greg Abel with maximum flexibility and a clean slate for future capital allocation decisions? And I will add one line from another shareholder, Mike Conway, who asks, are you encouraged you may see some fat pitches coming your way?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't do anything nearly so noble as to withhold investing myself just so that Greg could look good later on. If he gets any edge when I leave, I'll resent it. The amount of cash we have is, we would spend, we came pretty close to spending $10 billion not that long ago, for example. But we'd spend $100 billion. I mean, those decisions are not tough to make.
They're not tough to make.
That makes sense to us and that we understand and offers good value and where we don't worry about losing. And the one problem with the investment business is that things don't come along in an orderly fashion, and they never will. I mean, it isn't like every day. The long-term record is sensational, but that is not a product. And I've been in 200 trading days times 80 years. At 16 million trading days. Kind of, 16,000 trading days. It would be nice if every day you got 4 opportunities or something like that, and they were expected to be equally attractive. You know, if I was running a numbers racket, every day would have the same expectancy of that I would keep 40% of whatever the handle was. And so the only question would be is how much we transacted. But we're not running
probably is doing that.
And so we're running a business which is very, very, very opportunistic. Charlie always thought I did too many things.
Predatory.
We did about
predatory.
5 things
Opportunistic and another
we'd end up
predatory.
doing better than if we did 50, and that we never concentrated enough. So that we would rather have, if we've got 335 billion now in treasuries, we would rather have conditions that are developed where we would have like 50 billion or something like that, but that just isn't the way the business works. And we have made a lot of money by not wanting to be fully invested at all times. And we don't think it's improper, actually, for people who are passive investors just to make a few simple investments and sit for their life. But we made the decision to be in the business, so we think we can do a little better than that by behaving in a very irregular manner. But if you told me that I had to invest, well, let's say that we have a roughly $40 billion a year coming in, and we start with 335. If you told me I had to invest $50 billion every year till we got down to 50 billion, that would be the dumbest thing in the world to invest in that manner. Things get extraordinarily attractive very occasionally. The long-term trend is up. Nobody knows. And I certainly don't know. Greg doesn't know. Ajit doesn't know. Nobody knows what the market is going to do tomorrow, next week, next month. Nobody knows what business is going to do tomorrow, next week, or next month. But they spend all their time talking about it because it's easy to talk about. But it has no value. I've never found anybody I want to look.
This is a question from Mark.
All right. So right off the bat, and he was just talking about the plans moving forward about investing and how Berkshire, not really pertinent information right now, but this is
I love how they
the
just flat out
question
said
about
it.
the US dollar. And
I love how they just flat out
he
said
does
their
go
opportunities.
into other
Bonke and Helen Friedrichsen in Rapid City, South Dakota. As the US dollar quickly loses value in relation to other foreign currencies in 2025, is Berkshire Hathaway taking steps to minimize this currency risk and its impact on quarterly and annual earnings? If so, please explain. And I'll just add from Mary Chang, another shareholder, Berkshire currently borrows in Japanese yen to offset its currency risk and its Japanese stock investments. In the future, will you invest in foreign currency denominated assets unhedged?
Yeah, well, we always have, pretty much. The Japanese situation is different because we do intend to stay so long with that position, and the funding situation is so cheap that we essentially have attempted to some degree to match purchases against yen-denominated funding. But that's not a policy of ours. In fact, that's the first time we've done that. And we've owned lots of securities in foreign currency. So we do nothing in terms of the question about its impact on quarterly and annual earnings. We don't do anything based on its impact on quarterly and annual earnings. I mean, there's never been a board meeting I can remember or the conversation I had with Charlie when I said, where I say, if we do this, our annual earnings will be this, and therefore we ought to, whether it's accounting or whether anything, we just, the number will turn out to be what it'll be. What counts is where we are 5 or 10 or 20 years from now. And if you start focusing on what number you're going to produce, you will quickly get tempted, at least based on the experience I've seen from viewing 20 companies. You will get so you'll, one way or another, play around with the numbers, and sometimes seriously play around with the numbers. And I've seen people that, I trust them in all kinds of other ways, but they regard playing around with numbers as perfectly okay. And that's just not something, we just don't think about that. So actually, the yen, relationship of the yen, behavior of the yen in the last quarter, resulted in certain gap charges, and it doesn't make any difference. It'll change next month or next year, and obviously we wouldn't want to be owning anything that we thought was in a currency that was really going to help. And that's the big thing we worry about with the United States currency. I mean, the tendency of a government to
stop for a second.
Want to debase its currency over time is, there's no
Stop
system
for a
that
second.
beats that. You can pick dictators, you can pick representatives, you can do anything. But the people, there will be a push toward weaker currencies. And of course, that is, I mentioned very briefly in the annual report, that fiscal policy is what scares me in the United States because.
Wow, right?
Dude, how has this not started a bank run? Those words right there are so dangerous, what he just said. Wow.
Mike.
You can't hear me? Hello?
All right, I got you. So, wow. Okay, so I highly recommend just, myself. I'm going to watch it again, but he does. There's a lot of content being pushed at the moment. There's a few other cryptocurrency people that that I kind of follow and stuff like that, and it's interesting because like the form of that digital kind of rocket money. Right.
How did that not start a bank run? Those words he just used were so dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah. And heavily investing into Japanese yen right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's that's just next door.
I talked with Gern about this very briefly the other day when we were talking about looking at hard assets and stuff. And I remember when I was looking at buying silver, it was $22 an ounce. Now it's like 60.
Oh yeah.
It's jumped so much.
Yeah.
Like, and I say these things all the time. Like, I should be listening to myself. I say, oh, this is how I predict things. And I'm right. Like all the nonsense with the shit that I watch. I'm like, why didn't I learn from Looper and buy silver bars and gold back then? And look at us now.
Yeah. If you move forward on that clip, again, just do your own research, not financial advice to anybody. Not
financial advice at all.
It is interesting. Like Warren Buffett's been investing for 8 decades, like he said, 16,000.
It's not about money for him. It's about the game. It's clearly about the game for him at this point. Like that's why but if he's playing smart and saying he's gonna shift from the fucking dollar to the yen.
You noticed a different tone of voice, different tone, different language. From 2024, it was we're fine. The U.S.
He literally said we're fucked. Why would you put a bad bet into a falling economy? Like, wow,
a currency that's going to hell. So it is very interesting to with the convergence of AI, convergence of digital cryptocurrency, convergence of all these different things, disclosure coming out, Steven Spielberg, the Lake of the Woods, the Fire 7 prophecies, all the breadcrumbs of different religions, Christianity, Muslim, moving forward with all that. Everything is lining up. Everything's lining up to, and it was really interesting. What caught my eye by Warren Buffett's, I look at patterns and wordings, and that's it. That's all I enjoy watching patterns of things. And he said in that little clip, the end about 3 times. The end, the end, the end. So for me, I'm a pattern reader. I see that it's in his mind. He's imprinted that same phrase, the end, in his mind, and he's just saying it.
He doesn't care anymore. There's nothing left to lose. He's just being authentic because there's nothing else.
So when you look back and everything like the Babylon, the fallen Babylon theory of the scriptures and stuff like that, like the big collapse of there's conversations, there's channels out here right now that are talking about like this is the fallen Babylon and this is the fallen, and there's other investing channels out there that are talking about this is the fallen of the currency, and there's other. So it all wow, that's why we're open door policy, man, because it's just everything. And it's like we are so welcome to have anybody that's just out there that's like even an investor or something like that, or
They're all talking about it in channels you wouldn't think you're going to hear about the end of days. It's phenomenal.
It is
It's
a
phenomenal.
phenomenal time to be.
And that's the
even
other thing.
witnessing.
There's a lot of predator channels out there too, though, right? That are scooping people up, like these new age ones, right? Like, I believe new age. I'm not knocking all of you guys. I believe new age has its place, and I believe some of the things that come out of it are true. But I believe that's part of Christianity, true Christianity, anyways, because in the Bible we were divine beings. We had different ways of thinking back then that we lost. This could be it. This is the awakening. Not that we're chosen by any means, but people who've been they're seeing patterns. It's pattern recognition to the nth degree, and everything's playing out like you said. It's been a system. Rome fell for the same reason. And when you start seeing people getting free games and bread, bread and wine and free gladiator games, like that's the end. So what are they going to do now? UBI. There's your freebie. Let them eat cake. Try to, slow the violence or whatever's about to happen, right? This is just a pattern of things that have been here before. And that's why, like, even when we were talking about Atlantis, the fall of Atlantis, like, I think maybe they were where we're at now. Like I just saw a podcast on this, that there was a breakaway before Atlantis had left. People left and rebelled and said nuts to this, and left Atlantis and fucked off before it sunk. So these might be where we get some of those other stories and other civilizations with the megaliths and stuff, right? Because they talk about how corrupted things were. So maybe they had the internet back then. Maybe they were doing funky shit with everything comes back to eugenics also.
Yeah.
And building an ark, and I think this happened before, because again, if we're looking at patterns, right, we have them building arcs around the world right now. We have them, doing eugenics research. We have, religions all just starting to converge. Like, we're here to see something like that. I can't deny it anymore. It's just, what is this? And I know there's a lot of people out there that are afraid to talk about this, but I get DMs all the time that say, like, thank you. Like, we've had a few people, even on some of the old episodes, like, I thought putting out the Seven Fires episode about Hurtak was going to be crazy, and we got some good feedback on that.
Yeah, we have, and we really appreciate all the feedback that we're getting. Again, we're just starting out and stuff, so like any likes, any comments, and it doesn't take much to subscribe, like throw a little bit of subscribe there.
We're not here to convince people to go into their own, change religions. We're just here to just consider the following. This is essentially where we're at. Just consider what's going on and test it against your religion, test it against your faith, and see if it matches. That's all we're doing. That's
very
simply
interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, all that being said, it's like the pattern, since really it's starting to come to fruition. There's something from,
and this is where the new age is right. This is where the new age is right, is the patterning. I believe that to be true, because once you're awake, you can't shut it off, right? It's part of it. I believe that there's truth in all of these different things. It's just what is at the end, because we have words like you had said, the end is pushed a lot, the end, or the reset. And all of the new age stuff points to cycles. Even the Bible alludes to cycles, because remember, he says to Adam, right?
Right.
Replenish, not be fruitful, multiply, replenish, which implies there was something here before. And the natives talk about
replenish,
we're going into a fifth age, but before the fifth age happens, a cleansing must occur, and it's happened 4 other times before. That's our medicine wheel.
Wow,
so
there we go.
Is that where we're at? Who knows? But it's always the final blow is the economy, and hopefully that wakes people up not to be violent. Hopefully it wakes people up to understand what is actually going on, and we can come together against what's coming. I think it's the best way to leave it, because things are getting tough out there, ladies and gentlemen.
It is. So be kind.
Be kind.
Be kind. Be kind to each other. Have you noticed any I know for myself, my spidey senses are just firing when I'm out in public. Yeah, like
I don't want to be in public anymore.
I
wanna
find,
move.
like, I know we're in Christmas season at the moment, and everybody has a little bit of more angst and a little bit more energy, but it has been what I have noticed is that more and more as the days go on, people are becoming a little bit more irritable, a little bit unrational.
Well, how couldn't you when everything else is like 600 or 300% increase, right? Like, who can buy a home?
Well,
right?
that's just the money part.
That's
Yeah,
that's one of many things. That's not groceries, which are through the roof.
Yeah.
You know,
But it's like
fuel. Who cares about fuel? I'm more worried about like what the things that matter: food, shelter.
Well, exactly, and that's like you're starting to challenge the people's ways of living. You're starting to challenge.
Well, that's what makes it scary. With what you said with Warren Buffett bringing all that economy stuff up, right? Is let's say it doesn't go to the yen and it goes to, hypothetically, it goes to the yuan, right? It goes to the Chinese dollar, and they have a digital. They're going to be the world power. It's inevitable. So, or what happens if you invest in Japan and China takes Japan, and then now you're fucked, right? Or you got to invest in the yuan, and then we look at China having a surveillance state, right? So if you want in and you want to be able to purchase, you have to go under the surveillance state. And there's your track, chip, and trace. Is that the mark of the beast? Is that actually going to come out of China over here? Who knows?
It's
It's a scary time. It's a very scary time to be alive. Like, these conversations, just for me saying that, could put us in trouble. That, like, future us. Because when they go Minority Report, you said this about against the state, but we could have us against a wall. And it's not being facetious or funny to say this. Like, these are the times we're heading into if things go awry, ladies and gentlemen. Like, on top of eating ourselves. Like,
but there's always been shifts in currency. There's always been. We went from like trading rock, trading salt,
and war got us out of it.
And then
war got us out of it.
There's always
That's how
been
World War I and II happened.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then there's conflict in the new world. You know, Ray Dalio talks about. He's another finance guy, Wall Street guy, and he talks about the whole new world order shift. So you could dive
talking about it.
Well, the new world order has always happened, right? Like, it went from Norwegian to Brit to the Chinese to, like, you know, that's always been the cycle of who's the dominant.
Yep. But now we have guys like Peter Thiel talking about the Antichrist on tour, and Jeffrey Epstein being tied to CRISPR and Bitcoin. These are the things about going to landslide everything. Like, what do we do with that information now? What do we do with that?
Well,
like, are they fucking with us? Because it sure seems like they're fucking. I think like Peter Thiel with his Antichrist stuff, like, that's like a big fuck you to everybody. Seems like it.
Yeah, it could be, right? Like, it could be FUD. Could be
The
a whole
reptile
bunch
himself.
of FUD, and could be a whole bunch of, like, you know, sabotaging things or whatnot. But like, it is like there has been so much content out there. But we go forward on the fact that, like, you know, scripture and stories of actual, like, you know, we get some people out. If we can get some elders, that would be great to have a conversation. If that was even a possibility, that would be a very welcome possibility, just to have these kind of, you know, actual, you know, smart conversations about something that's about the actual subject, right? Like, that would be, and for the digital state and digital security and all that stuff. Like, it isn't like, yeah, we haven't lived in times like this ever, right? And this is a first for humanity. And it's a weird experience because, like I think I said earlier, it was like 2,000 years ago. We were just living the same. We were the same people, doing the same cycle. Same, like there was nothing else. Now it's like there's a lot of information. Everybody's
there's a lot of missing information too, and then the unfortunate part is whatever's going on in Egypt right now, we're never going to know the full truth behind it.
You're talking about the pyramids with the electrical electroid.
I'm not even concerned about that. I don't even care about that with the pyramids. I'm more concerned about the labyrinth that was found in Hawara. That's what I'm more interested in. That thing it even says based on Herodotus that thing was, the pyramids pale in comparison as far as grandeur goes. So like that's where they think. Well, actually, I think that we did talk about this. They said that they x-rayed the site again, and they almost like a tic-tac shaped sarcophagus looking thing was detected down there, right? So it was just like, but the damn place is flooded. So like, of course it is. Like,
wow.
But again, Scripture tells us all will be revealed in the end. Everything.
The end.
Great wonders will be found. Like, look at what's happened. Like, I remember growing up. I remember being a kid when like Troy wasn't like officially discovered. I remember when that was a myth, and now it's like actually confirmed that it's been found. And now we have all this crazy shit on top of the other crazy shit that's happening.
Yeah, you're getting flooded with all this other stuff, right? And that's a good pattern. That's a pattern that we're just noticing too, right? Like the information is just flood. And you pick.
I don't trust any media anymore. You can't. Like even Joe Rogan, like that guy's bought. He's bought. Like 90% of the time he's got CIA people on. Do you think people leave the CIA when you have a bound for life? Come on. They're feeding him shit or he's in on it. And he has these guys on all the time.
Yeah, Joe Rogan's going to be the first to interview an alien. Joe Rogan's going to interview the alien.
Or as Gern says, fake Jesus.
Or Jesus, yeah. Like the floating Messiah. Oh, man.
Spaghetti monster.
Yeah, or it could be that. It could be that.
You know what's
whatever it's all coming to, though. Whatever's coming to, it's the end. It's the end.
Well, I think psychedelics are a big part of it. I think psychedelics are a huge part of it, because why else would they be treating people with it now? And why is everybody saying they're seeing the same stuff? I was talking with Matt. And he's looking to come back on at some point, but like some of the stuff, like he's seen eyeballs and stuff, like it's all the same. It's all the same. And it's like Ezekiel's wheel stuff. It's just like, were these guys tripping balls, or like is this what happens when you die? Near-death experiencers mention the same types of things. Like I don't know what to do with this stuff, because I used to be a rational human being. I thought I was a rational human being. I used to love watching space and everything. And now I'm just like, I don't know what to believe anymore.
It is a wild concept once you like cross some lines, and
don't read philosophy, folks. Do not read philosophy or thought experiments. It'll wreck your brain.
Yeah,
I do not advise.
Do not advise. That's amazing. What do you think, Bud? Do you think we sign this off, or do we talk about others?
Well, you got anything else?
You know what? I got my Christmas cheer for everybody out there. I want to wish everybody a safe holiday. It's tough times out there. A lot of people are struggling. Everybody's going through something, whether that is an awakening, whether that is just stress, whether that is whatever. It's the Bible state. But be safe out there. Really be kind to each other. Enjoy every single moment. if I can recommend anything, man, it's just being present. Whatever that is, just try to be present in that moment, right? Because like, you know, this is very exciting stuff that's going on in the world, but it's also, it can really drive you into a little bit of a frenzy. So really try to enjoy yourself out there, and you know, dance with your family, and dance with your friends, and really just try to be good, right? And be safe over the holidays. And if you're alone, try to reach out to somebody, you know, because we're never alone out here. We're always around. So that's what I got, Troy. I hope once again, my man, like it's been an awesome year just chatting and going through all this kind of stuff with you. And
Dude, I would do this with you if there wasn't a camera involved. I always enjoy discussions. This is awesome that we just get to do it for other people, and some people agree with us and some people question things. So it's worth what we're doing.
Yeah.
And you know, it keeps us sane too, right? We're not siloing ourselves by just talking to ourselves. We're talking openly with everyone out there for people to slap us in the face if we're kind of going off track, which is nice to know. And that's what we need sometimes. So we're building a good community of good folks. And like Brandon said, if you're out there and you don't have anybody, you know, just reach out to anybody. And those who are holding petty things back with their families over the holidays, like, let it go, get better, and just be the better person and say, you know, Merry Christmas at the very least. So to everyone else, thank you again, and Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah. Take care, everybody.
Happy Hanukkah and happy Merry Christmas, everybody. And we'll see you in the next year. Looking forward to it. As always.
Make sure you watch tomorrow.
Let's
Understanding
go.
Conspiracy with Paul Staub's Nephilim Clowns tomorrow, 6 p.m. Cheers, everybody. Take care.